put in around town and make it a little more accessible and safer for bicycles and pedestrians.
Bike lanes, huh? Well, you got my vote. Dave, you hear that? Bike lanes? I'm just kidding. Mike, one of the things that I noticed on your application was just the concern about getting off for work or being able to have that time. Did you talk to your employer at all, or what are your thoughts?
Because I believe the meetings are at 3:30, and I believe I can get off work a few minutes. I work downtown here. So.
Yeah. You're at Mid-American,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yep.
and they're usually pretty supportive of community service.
Yeah, I should be able to get to that on time.
I just want to make sure before we make our decision if you'd be able to or not.
Yeah.
Thanks for making the application.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll let you know.
Okay.
Next is Kathy Fliginger. I should after all these years. Gillian Kosovo Sister City Committee.
Correct, yeah. Kathy Fliginger, I'm a retired teacher and counselor from the Sioux City School District. I've lived in Sioux City for over 50 years now, and I love to travel. I'm especially fascinated by Eastern Europe, and so a friend of mine mentioned this opening on the board for the sister city of Kosovo, and I thought I'd like to know more about it. I don't know much about Kosovo. I don't know much about Gillian, I believe is the name of the city. But I'm willing to learn, and I have been to neighboring countries. I've been to Turkey and Greece, and I recently went to Prague and Budapest, so I'm hoping to do more travel in that area. And I love Sioux City. I will try to represent Sioux City well. What?
You've been here 50 years, must come as a very young girl, huh?
That's right, very young. That wasn't very nice.
No. This guy is smooth.
Yeah.
Well, you'd be a great fit for this. So.
Oh, you will be.
Yeah, she will
Be
be.
a great
Yeah.
addition.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that it?
Appreciate it. Yep.
Yeah, good
Appreciate
job.
it, Kathy. Human Rights Commission, Billy Oadair. Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to serve.
Okay, my name is Billy Oyadare, a practicing attorney in Sioux City here. Well, Human Rights Commission is very dear to my heart. The reason is that the issue of discrimination, whenever it comes up, many times there are a lot of smokes surrounding it. It's important to be able to separate the wheat from the chaff. And given my background, I believe I can do a good job contributing my quota to that, and that's why I'm offering my services in that commission.
Where are we sitting on openings?
Have just one vacancy on this board, gender balance, so it does have to be a male.
Appreciate your taking the time to apply, Billy, and
Thank you.
I think you would be a good addition to that.
Thank you.
I've known you
Thank you.
for all you do.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. We'll let you know. We'll go to the consent agenda today, which is items 3 through 17E. Consider them passed unanimously unless a separate roll call vote's asked for by a council member. If you want to speak on any of these items, please come out as I read them and state your name and address when you address the council. If you're going to come up on an item not on the agenda, please come up under citizen concerns. Again, please state your name and address. I'll move the consent agenda.
Second?
3 is a reading of the City Council minutes of March 4th and 5th. Correction was made to the March 4th regular meeting to reflect the correct voting on item 19. 4 is a motion accepting the CLG 2018 annual report. 5 is a resolution authorizing the police department to apply for a Burn Justice Assistance Grant to fund the Tri-State Drug Task Force. 6 are a resolution awarding a purchase order to Jensen Motors for a truck for the Central Maintenance Garage.
I have just one comment on that. I was really surprised at the spread between the bids. Almost made me think if they were bidding on the same vehicle.
You weren't alone. Darrell Bullock, acting fleet manager. We did review the spec sheets that were sent along with it, and they did have the same packages listed there. It was shocking to see how far apart they are.
128% and 151%.
A great distance.
Same specs, you double check that.
Yeah, they sent the sheets in, they sent that sheet in on them, so, yep.
Thank you.
Bet.
7 are civil penalties and suspensions. A is a resolution scheduling a hearing for a $300 civil penalty against Central Mart, 1000 Morningside Avenue for violation of the cigarette laws. B is a resolution scheduling a hearing on a $300 civil penalty against Aberotis Aguirre, 1001 Court Street for violation of the cigarette laws. C is a resolution scheduling a hearing on a $300 civil penalty against Hy-Vee Food Stores, number 1, 2827 Hamilton Boulevard for violation of the cigarette laws. 8 are actions adopting construction documents. A is a resolution adopting plans and specifications for the Jones Street Public Improvements Project. B is a resolution adopting plans and specification for the Pierce Street Reconstruction Project. This is the one on 24th Street, or 20th Street, correct? I'd like to have a separate vote on that, because you've still got those bump outs and all that, right? And I'm sure you got full depth curbs rather than drop curves.
Gordon Fair, city engineer. Those are, they are drop curves.
How dropped? Because right up the, well, I mean, right up the
don't know.
street, the 23rd Street, you can see how already there, that street's not even 10 years old, and they're just beat to heck from snowplows. And I'm tired of doing these bump outs, and then you get to the 5 years down the road, and they look horrible. And we're supposed to have all these great-looking streets because of these bump outs that are supposed to enhance the neighborhood, and they don't. They distract from it.
Well, I think it's enhancement as well as safety. I mean, I'm thinking of pedestrian safety of using them. I think it creates a more walkable area. I think it's education of our roads crews, letting them know where those bump out features
You know
are.
what, you can educate them all you want, but the only way to do those are with skid loaders very slowly and not trucks. Sorry, but you got the same problem down here. The curbs are already bumped, they're knocked out right across the street. There isn't a curb left over there. You cannot clean those things with you've got to find a smaller piece of equipment of some kind. I mean, did we ever think about a 4x4 with a small blade doing the ends at least?
I can't answer that.
I know. I
As for
can't
the
vote for
actual
it
drop,
because
I can get back to you with that information.
Okay, well, I'm going to call that one for a vote, please.
Gretkin?
Aye.
Moore?
Aye.
Scott?
No.
Waters?
Aye.
Capron?
I'm going to take you all up there in 4 years and drive you by and see how great that works for you. C is a resolution adopting plans and specifications for the Wesley Parkway Sidewalk Widening Project. 9 are actions relating to agreements and contracts. A is a resolution approving a contract to AAA Construction for the Riverside Park Swimming Pool recoating. B is a resolution approving a contract Clearview for window cleaning services in the Skywalk system. C is a resolution approving change order number 1 in the contract with Wager for the Morningside Branch Library renovation project. You do understand, once you're 10% over, it's supposed to come to the council?
Correct. I do. Helen Rigdon, Library
But you've already
Director.
signed you already commenced a bunch of that work, right?
Correct.
It's not supposed to come after, it's supposed to come before.
Well, we were waiting till it got to the 100,000 over that, and that's when we brought it all together.
Yeah, it's 130 some, right?
113, I believe. Yes, 113,692.
And so what was the additional scope? And can you talk to a little bit? I mean, I think I saw like changing of the garage area.
Yeah, we are changing the garage into staff work area. We are fixing all the sidewalks out front, which we were going to have to do eventually anyhow, but those weren't included in the original scope. So we added that in there. They found old lighting that they had to take out up in the ceiling. There was a double pad in the bathrooms they had to remove, and that's what some of this is.
I understand all that, but well, you don't do that many projects, but Stanley, you should have worked with her on that, and,
Didn't we have bids that came in under? That's why we had this extra.
but okay, we have a council resolution that says if you're over 10%, it has to come before you sign a purchase order, or
Correct.
but they've already done this work.
They haven't done the last piece.
Which is the sidewalks.
We were under the 10%, so we're bringing it to you now that we're going to exceed the 10%. We never exceeded the 10% yet.
The sidewalks was the last piece, and that's 37,000,
We
I
haven't done
believe.
this work.
Right, it's not started yet.
Okay. But you knew you were going to do it. All I'm saying is a memo saying we're going to go over, we'll bring it to you when we exceed that.
You know, and we talked about this the whole time during the project. I said, once we start getting close to 10%, we got to go to council for this
All
approval.
right.
And I guess my concern was as far as the restaurant or the garage and the sidewalks. I mean, we didn't anticipate that or didn't think about it.
We had taken-
I just get nervous about these. We bid these contracts and then it comes back and it's like, well, here's another $100,000 on top. So what if I was a
Because
contractor?
they have that 100,000 to spend and they're going to spend it.
And that's my thing is if I was a contractor, why would I not? I don't bid low and then just be like, well, we're just going to do change orders and keep doing everything different.
We did not have these in the original scope because of our fear of going over on that original bid. And then when they came in low at our joint city council and the
Yeah.
board of trustees, we were encouraged to finish the whole project instead of doing a phase two.
Okay,
Okay?
I understand.
Stan, what was the overall cost of the project? It doesn't say in
Right
this
about a
particular
million,
RCA.
just a million and a little bit of change.
Is that what it was?
Just a second.
I probably wouldn't have picked up on it because the
Yeah.
overall cost wasn't in the RCA.
Right, it's about 1.2.
1.2?
Now, it wasn't, so you add this.
It was it came in at 1,035,000.
Right.
Oh, I see it. Thank you, Dan.
All right. Interactions relating to personnel. A is a resolution amending the position classification manual by approving an updated job description for the fleet supervisor position. B is a resolution amending the position classification manual by approving an updated job description for the transit mechanic position. 11 are actions authorizing the issuance of checks. A is a resolution approving change order number 4 and authorizing payment to executive companies for the Channel Improvement Way project. Alex, do you have questions on that?
No.
Okay.
Well, I wouldn't mind, Rick, if you want to go through that. That was one that I had notes on. Just because of the changes. I appreciated your memo. I thought it was thorough before, but
Sure.
talk a little bit.
Happy to do it. Rick Mock, Special Assistant to City Manager. This project, as you know, is kind of unique, and we ran into all kinds of issues with the runaway soils and all the springs in the bank. So we did issue a change order number 1, which was under staff authorization of $6,000. Then when we ran into problems with the soils, brought a change order for council approval. The contractor is going to try to install a sheet pile and stabilize the bank so they could work on it because they kept losing their equipment in the mud. That was a change order of $35,000 that council did approve on April 25th of 18. The contractor could not get core approval to put the sheet pile in, nor could he get a sealed set of plans from structural engineer, so he could not use the sheet pile as an option. So change order 3 deleted several of the items from change order 2, and they relocated the outfall box at the bottom in the repair. That was approved on June 25th. And so where we're at today of closing this project out. It did go up considerably. It's at $105,000 approximately compared to the original award of $68,000, which if we look at the final
kind of
number is
raining, it was
about where the
pouring, yeah.
engineer, yeah. If we look at the final number though, it's about where the engineer's estimate was when the project was bid, because the engineer's estimate was $100,000, and the next lowest bid at that time was $111,000.
Oh, okay.
And
They
that
got the money
contractor
no
would have
matter
probably had
what.
the same problem.
They got the money, Alex, no matter what.
I appreciate that, Rick.
B is the resolution authorizing change orders number 5 to 8 and authorizing payment to Sioux City Engineering for the Wesley Parkway project. 12 are actions relating to property. A is a resolution approving a release of contract for sale of land in the Highland Park urban renewal area with Dunham Capital Management.
Staying on that item, 12A and 12B.
B is a resolution approving a release of contract for sale of land in the Highland Park urban renewal area with Jim Olson and Mike Craighead. 14 are appointments to boards and commissions and committee. A is a motion reappointing Richard Wissing to the Environmental Advisory Board. B is a motion reappointing Ben Nusselhoff to the Museum Board of Trustees. 14 are actions relating to assessments. A is a resolution fixing the amount assessed for the March 2019 nuisance abatement program. B is a resolution fixing the amount assessed for the 2018 weed abatement program. 15 are approved total checks issued for the reporting period of March 2019 in the amount of $9,446,385.47. 16 are applications for cigarette, tobacco, nicotine, vapor permits. See the list, come forward if you have any questions. 17 are receipt of minutes. See the list, come forward if you have any questions. Anyone to be heard on any of those? We'll vote electronically.
Yes.
All passes 5-0. 18 is a hearing and resolution approving the sale of property at 3615 7th Street. The petitioners Darrell and Carol Nee. I'll move that.
Second.
Jeff Hansen, Community Development Operations Manager. This is in hearing proposing to sell certain real property located at 3615 7th Street. This is vacated Darling Avenue. The property was vacated back in February of this year. No additional property owners have come forward to acquire the vacated property, so staff's recommending approval.
Passes 5-0. 19 is an ordinance amending Chapter 2.04 entitled Council to provide a new salary for the mayor and city council members. First consideration passed March 4, 2019.
I'll move it. Second.
Passes 3-2, Gretkin and Moore voting no. 20 is an ordinance amending Chapter 5.20 entitled Solid Waste by increasing fees for solid waste collections. First consideration passed February 11, 2019. Second consideration passed February 25, 2019. Deferred from March 11, 2019. I'm going to move third reading because we'll have to come back with the other stuff anyway. We just will get this part done.
Correct, the 2%, right?
Right.
Correct. The way that it is currently brought forward to council includes the senior discount.
Right, and then you're going to have to bring us back an amendment to that. My vote would be, I don't want to get sued because we're doing something that's clearly we're not able to do. And I thought we could do it under the low income deal, and we can't because it doesn't matter. You're not entitled. And I talked to some Mid-America people. They used to try to have this, and it's, state law is pretty clear. You cannot discriminate on rates if you're a utility. So,
Well, can we legally approve this then?
Well, it's, the only thing that would be adjusted today would be the rate increase
Just the,
on the base rate. So if that's the council's direction, once that's passed and publicized on Saturday, it would be effective with the increase in the rate. We could turn around and bring this back for Monday's agenda next week to remove the senior discount completely by itself. You could move to remove the senior rate from the text of the ordinance today, but you would not be able to pass third reading today because you would need to provide notice for individuals.
and that's why I think we just move this and go, and then come back with the other stuff.
Sure, we can put this back on the agenda for next Monday to remove just the senior rate language. And the regular increase that's been brought forward would be effective on Saturday.
They've already probably received their March bills, so by April, we would have that straightened out. So we wouldn't be offering? Yes, okay.
So I know we would have some overlap, but the 2% increase would go into effect.
Yes.
We could come back next week and remove the other portion, just so there's adequate notice to the public of the removal of the senior portion.
The 2% increase, though, is contract, is it not?
Correct. That was a previously approved contract.
Why are we approving that?
We're approving the rate increase in the ordinance to offset the increased cost from the contract. Gil by contract has increased it by 2%. That now exceeds the amount we're currently charging as our rate.
I'm with you. To be consistent.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I need a second.
Second.
That's pretty good. You don't light us up till we get a second.
Just in case.
Passes 5-0.
So come back next Monday then.
Yes, I will work with Melissa Campbell and Mark Sims, and we'll bring it back next week.
But I want to make one comment. I just want everybody to know out there that we're between a rock and a hard spot because this is a state a law. So we have no choice but to go along with the state law. So with that said, we're sick about it. We don't agree with it, but there's nothing that we can do about it. So I just want people out there to know that it's not the city that's doing this; it's the state.
Or an alternative was to change state law, but we weren't able to accomplish that either.
Yep, they tried down there and it didn't make it through committee. So they didn't have the way I understood it is there wasn't enough time to, and then there was a couple things in the bill that gave them a headache, so they didn't want to mess with it.
Okay. 21 is a resolution authorizing the mayor to deliver a notice to the mayor of North Sioux City terminating the sewage treatment agreement. I'll move the deferral until May 20th, 2019.
Second.
Just out of curiosity, why May 20th? Because they're not going to get done with their work, and the timeline is September 1st, and the agreement is good until December 31st.
Mayor and Council, we're continuing to negotiate the sister city agreements with Sergeant Bluff, North Sioux City, and South Sioux City. We just need that additional time. We're, in addition to working on a memorandum of understanding for possible regionalization, we are also continuing to work on sister city agreements, which are a different issue, and that pertains to this. We need the additional time to continue to negotiate those agreements.
To the end of this year? This
till May.
Calendar year?
No, just till May.
Just till May?
Yeah, just till May, yeah.
When this group gets together, will council receive periodical updates?
Yes. The county, as you're aware, approved the letter of memorandum of understanding. Actually, the city of Sioux City was supposed to have approved that first, being the primary user of the wastewater treatment plant. We anticipate bringing that back March 25th for discussion on the proposed memorandum of understanding.
So how frequently will they meet?
To be determined, but there will be a working group that will work over the summer with designated representatives from each of the communities.
I just am hopeful that we would get updates so we could keep abreast
Yes, you
of
will.
what's going on. Yeah. Thank you.
I'm just waiting on your.
Twenty-two is a resolution authorizing the mayor to deliver a notice. Do I have to vote on something else? No, we're okay. Yeah. Resolution authorizing mayor to deliver a notice to the mayor of South Sioux City, terminate sewage treatment agreement. A motion is requested to defer this item till May 20th. I'll move that.
Second.
I still have concerns. Mr. Moore and I understand conflict of interest probably better than anybody. I still have concerns that the guys that are doing the South Sioux sewer plant study are the same people working for us on rates and all, and then they're working for the whole group. Now, I don't know what your definition of a conflict of interest is, Ms. City Attorney, but I certainly would believe you'd caution me that I have a conflict if I had 3 different things going on. I'm just saying, you can, you can argue all you want, Bob, but
I would just ask that we hold that discussion until that item is before you. These 3 items don't have anything to do with the memorandum of understanding.
Yeah. That, we voted on that a week ago, Bob.
No, you didn't. No, that item has not. That'll be on the agenda March 25th.
Well, I guess engineers have a different definition of conflict of interest than what council members do.
That's the same agreement that was approved by the county?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Who are we waiting for?
Mr. Grecken.
Can I have a few more minutes?
Like.
Sorry.
6:05.
That passes 5-0. 23 is a resolution authorizing the mayor to deliver a notice to the mayor of Sergeant Bluff terminating the sewage treatment agreement. We need a motion to defer till May 20th, 2019. I'll move that.
Second.
Passes 5-0. 24 is a resolution approving a development services agreement with Unity Point Health St. Luke's for the Christie Road sidewalk improvements. I should have asked on this, but Mr. Heiser Road is supposed to pay for some of this. He doesn't want to pay for some of this. So what happens at the end of the day when he says, well, I'm not going to pay for it? Then we got to assess this, and we'll be forever collecting it. And I don't want to do that. He's the one that's supposed to put it in. We ought to do a sidewalk hearing on it, and we ought to force him to be a party to this agreement.
I thought he said he was gonna.
Wasn't that part of the development agreement?
Yeah, I thought.
Matt Salvatore, Parks and
Now
Recreation
he's
Director.
trying to say,
No?
It's in his development agreement, so he's,
I understand.
right.
So why isn't he just doing it like he's supposed to?
It was always, the way the development agreement is written, the city's responsible for the design and the inspection.
That's fine.
The reason it was done that way is because there's utilities that need to be relocated. If he was doing it privately, he'd have to pay for that. We can make Mid-Americans as a city.
What assurances, and I'm not picking on Mr. Heiser, this happens around here far too often. We have deals and something happens in those deals. So what assurances do we have that when this is done, he writes a check for his portion?
I believe he has big funds that are contingent
Yes.
on execution and fully cooperating under the development agreement, so it'd be a breach of contract, and I haven't reviewed it prior to this meeting, but a normal course would be to not release the additional dig funds based on completion of the units.
I was just speaking to the reason why we did it as our project to relocate.
And I can read that agreement in greater detail, but I believe that we would be able to withhold.
I wish you'd send us a memo on that, because there is some hesitation on his part that he doesn't want to do this now. I'll move that.
Councilman Moore, it's just your vote.
You guys got to get out of here. You're sure kind of taking your time today. There.
Well, I was thinking about your comments, whether we should defer it or not, but that would mess up item 25, wouldn't it?
Yeah. 25 is a resolution adopting plans and specifications for the Christie Road Sidewalk Improvements Project. I'll move that.
Second.
Passes 5-0. 26 is a resolution adopting plans and specifications for the Siouxland Expo Center project. I'll move that.
Second.
Dirk. Matt Salvatore, Parks and Recreation Director. The Siouxland Expo Center will be owned by a nonprofit Siouxland Expo Center Board. Dirk Laurie is here as president of the Siouxland Expo Board, and he's also responsible for the scale model to my right that shows and depicts the Expo Center very well. He did a great job on it.
And he's also, I heard, responsible for any short on the fundraising. He's just going to write a personal check. And
There you go. On record.
He's going to make that smaller, is what he's going to do. Going to cut it off.
The city will be providing bidding assistance, financial assistance, and the Parks and Recreation has the management, department has the management contract for the building. So just answer any questions you may have at this time.
Well, I have a question, and I don't know how to ask it, but it needs to be asked in this community. We have projects here now where we have what they call labor contractors. I want to make sure that people who work on that job are employees of the company and not a labor broker bringing guys in. It's a big deal across this country. And they bring these labor guys in and it's basically slavery. So how do we assure, Ms. City Attorney, that we don't get into that situation? I don't want a minimum wage or any of that. I don't want that.
Or don't want them as an independent contractor, as an employee is what you want.
You have to bid it out.
Well, you bid it out, but you have no way of knowing.
The people on
Oh, I
the
see.
job.
The
whether
people on the job are actually employees.
Classified as an employee or classified as an independent contractor. Because if they're classified as an independent contractor, you don't have to pay workers' comp, you don't have to pay federal taxes, you don't have to pay all of these things that cost a lot of construction companies big bucks. And so they just register them as an independent contractor to save that money.
And our current contracts that we let do not have restrictions related to labor that is brought in. I mean, they have to disclose some subs that they're using, but that's the extent of the disclosure. Other than the prime contractor is responsible for all the work to be completed.
And I understand the mayor's concern. For me, the people that are on the job, I just want to know that they're not abusing it. If they're an actual independent contractor, then that's fine. But if they meet the guidelines as an employee, I think that they should be paid and compensated and all those additional benefits as an employee.
Well, you're going to have subcontractors, but
Yeah.
make sure that the employees that work for them are truly employees rather than sub of a sub.
Yes. And I don't know how you enforce that.
And when are we bidding this?
Bids are due April 9th.
Is there a way to do, Dale, you know what I'm talking about. You have no,
We could put an addendum together that Nicole and I could work on that would
I would
maybe
like-
better define something.
only fair way to do it. There's a big project in town that they're bringing people from California right now that are not employees. You have no assurances that they're actually getting what they're supposed to be getting. And I think you open yourself up to a real can of worms liability-wise if one of those workers down there gets injured, even if you're not if it's on our job, you are gonna be named in that. I know there's hold harmlesses in that, but you're still gonna get named in that lawsuit on.
And I have not, maybe Dave can comment to this too, or Gordon. I have not seen a limitation in DOT contracts or other contracts regarding labor, other than we have some federal grant components where we have to do DBE or other restrictions, but I have not seen a restriction.
Well, but if you're doing David, if you're doing a job for the DOT, 90% of it has federal funds in it, so you have Davis-Bacon, you have to certify that they're not just technically an employee, they are an employee. You have to certify.
Certified payroll and.
Right.
Job wage.
People observer or whatever, yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't see why you couldn't have certified payroll, require certified payroll and just not have wage rates on there.
And we could do random interviews as well, which might do a lot to stop it before it happens.
We can look at the front-end documents and see if there's a way that they could be modified through an addendum. I know we're in a tight time frame.
I know.
In order to bring this forward, so we can look at that. We'll do our best to do that. I can't predict if there are other things that may come up that may limit us in our ability to do
At least you've put that sub on notice that you are expecting them to have employees. That's what I want to make sure we're doing.
Sure.
And they can certify it. We don't care what their wages
We
are.
don't care what they get paid. We
No,
want
you
to
just
know that
certify it if
being-
they're, so, but he'd have to certify it and actually,
And we can produce that prior to this coming back for the hearing on the plans and specs. I would imagine that we could turn that around fairly quick.
all right.
Sir, I apologize. Can you give me your name and address for the recording?
Dale McKinney, 4200 Country Club.
May I ask you a couple of questions?
Of course you can. It'd be a pleasure.
This is really cool over here, what you've done.
I just want to let you know that everything I know, I learned in kindergarten at Hunt Elementary School.
Excellent.
Yes.
Then we're going to get along.
It is just cut and paste.
So the real building would be the 103 square feet? Is that what we're still?
103,000 square feet.
103,000.
Close enough.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't go to Hunt Elementary, I'm sorry, but 103,000 square feet.
103,000 square feet, 80,000 square feet in the arena.
The arena was 80,000, okay, and it's going to have a climbing wall room. The write-up says climbing wall room.
Yes.
And restrooms, locker rooms, and will house the Parks and Rec Department offices. You'll be moving from
Long
lines to the Siouxland Expo Center. Okay.
Correct. Yep.
That's
Hey,
exciting.
Dan, the climbing wall.
Do we have your old office? So we could, football team could finally have a real office down there?
We can talk about it.
Interstate.
Well, I was going to
That
ask
should be the
Mr.
climbing
Laurie
wall.
that. Where's the main entrance and what's facing the
Well,
interstate? Rhonda was trying to help me here. Yeah, well, you spent a lot of time putting that together, and I think that is really,
Well, there goes the pins.
really
Okay, so the interstate goes this way, though, doesn't it, Dale?
yes.
This is the main entrance. Most of the parking is this way.
Let's see, what direction?
But the brick is on the other side, right? Where the interstate is.
Yes. River interstate right here.
Oh, I see. Okay, I got you. Right.
You'll see that.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell him.
Yeah. It's going to be very visible from the interstate.
But the main entrance is on the north side.
North side.
Parking lot's on the north side. Okay.
Right.
And parking for, well, you said an arena, so are you going to have trailers or,
Well, this is the arena in here. You want to take the roof off? Yeah.
can you do that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He
Hey,
can do it
guys.
all, geez.
Well, now you're talking.
There you go. Look at.
Oh, there's the rest of the story. Okay. I said, there's the rest of the story. You took the roof off for me. Thank you.
Roof on. Yeah, we are going to, the original is going to have an actual roof on it.
That's good.
A removable, I'm
I mean,
thinking.
we're all about a big skylight, but I don't know about that big of a
Well,
skylight.
hold that up so we can see it.
That's a soccer field, you know, Dan.
Pardon?
That's a soccer field in there.
Storage on that side. This is a loading dock back here. But, yeah.
I think you could put how many basketball courts in there?
Basketball courts?
This is set up for soccer.
Soccer, not basketball?
Well, no.
Technically, the space is big enough for a full-size football field with end zones.
Got it.
80,000 square.
And wide enough for a soccer field, full-size.
But not basketball.
Well, no, you could.
You could do, but.
Oh, yeah.
We got the arena and we have now that new facility that's up in the North Sioux City. They have tons of basketball courts. We could put basketball.
Well, I was just curious because I thought at one time you were talking basketball courts, so.
Oh, yeah, we used to have.
But they got brand new.
Yeah, I know it. They don't play basketball, do they?
I think they'll.
Never mind.
What'd you put for a budget for turf on that?
350.
Getting new stuff, huh?
If we
We've
can.
never been able to experience that. I was just curious.
Mayor and council, also the space, the main arena can be divided into 12 individual spaces.
That's what I was, yeah.
We have drop-down nets to be able to do 12 small soccer fields.
So is my math right? You said this is about an 80,000 square foot arena? So you got 23,000 square feet for the wall and for
storage,
lockers?
Storage primarily, yeah.
Okay. And then they have here in our write-up that the completion date will be by June 1, 2020. Is that realistic?
That's what we're shooting for, yes.
That's really moving along, isn't it?
As long as it doesn't rain.
How about seating?
Or snow.
How much seating is there?
Oh, I'll just go down here. Yeah, we can take the roof on the rest of those things and show the offices and stuff like that.
How many's that seat?
2,500?
I think it's 12. 2,500? 2,500, right, Dale?
We have telescoping bleachers for 2,500. We could deal with a lot more up above off the observation deck.
So we could put seating up here. This is a pretty large
Observation deck.
Stretch back into here, and we could put seating up here as well as down below. But I have to emphasize, we aren't really emphasizing spectator sports in this. You know, the seating is kind of
No indoor
temporary,
football?
just, put in, for holding small events. This is primarily for expos and for recreational activity.
No indoor football?
You could do indoor football, but you can't punt.
We don't punt.
But you'd have
quote.
tournament play though, wouldn't you, in here? Wouldn't you have some tournament play?
We could have soccer tournaments.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's the absolutely.
Bob, there's that Bob.
Lacrosse is getting big. I guess lacrosse is in Morningside now.
So's rugby.
In rugby too.
There's not enough seating for.
Well, thank you,
players.
Dirk. Thanks for putting that together.
No, it was a pleasure.
Thanks for putting the whole thing together.
Dale will be hiring you for most of his projects going forward.
I come cheap.
And Matt, along with that, I know I had email correspondent and have talked with you about a couple different things. Just some concerns or the functionality of what we'd be able to do, bringing other sports or doing different things, or with a climbing wall. That's still somewhat flexible down the road, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I just wanted to make that clear.
And soccer, some football activities, softball and baseball could even take place in the facility.
Do you want to tell the audience that's listening on TV about the announcement today?
Yes, we announced 3 naming sponsors. MERD is sponsoring the atrium for $1 million. Mid-American Energy is sponsoring the main expo hall for $500,000. And what was the other one?
Hard Rock.
Hard Rock is sponsoring the video board for $400,000. So project wouldn't be possible without those contributions.
Thank you.
Great.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Any questions? Passes 5-0. 27 is a resolution adopting plans and specs for the Tyson Event Center video and scoreboard system project.
I'll move that.
Second.
Do you have a sponsor for this, board?
Mayor and council, I can start by saying there's a contribution from the city through the CIP, and then additionally, the hope is to sell advertising revenue on the board to make the rest of the debt service payment.
I'm not so sure the one that I told you about earlier wouldn't still be a player in this, but.
And we would be open to that also.
At this time, though, you're saying you don't?
No, at this time, we do not have a named sponsor, no.
Okay.
Gentlemen, how we doing?
Yeah.
Good. We're good. We're excited to finally bring this to you. Get this going up.
You want to tell us where our new friend is here?
Yeah,
You gotta state,
Mayor and council,
both of them have state.
To everybody out there?
go ahead, Rick. Rick Powell from Spectra and our new general manager, who's been on the street for 2 weeks now. Tim Zavona comes to us from Nampa, Idaho, and now here full-time.
We need your addresses too, gentlemen, please.
Rick Powell, Director of Operations, Tyson Event Center.
Tim Savona, General Manager, Tyson Event Center.
Addresses too, guys. Sorry.
401 Gordon Drive.
Okay, thank you.
401 Gordon Drive, Tyson Event.
Uh-oh. Not living together, are you?
They got a washer and dryer down there, so that.
Yeah.
Hey,
right.
that's,
We got our own
storage,
offices.
it's good. Well, welcome.
Any other questions?
And it sounds like if you don't have a sponsor, the mayor has talked, that might be an opportunity worth looking into.
Yeah, we're open to for any thoughts or whatever.
Great.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Passes 5-0. Citizen concerns. Are there any citizens that would like to be heard? If so, please come to the microphone and state your name and address, please.
Trevor Bertrand. I live on a 300 block of South Collins, have been deemed too small. I'm the only one with on-street parking, and I prefer to park in front of my house instead of 2.5 blocks away. Just wondering, I'm not getting no information from anybody else. I was just wondering, what can a guy do? I've been there 10 years. I've got neighbors, elderly neighbors, been there 30 plus years, 27 years, and they have to park blocks away. I was wondering if there's any way to deem that from West Horn, I believe it is. It goes up South Collins, West Horn, and then through on there, it's a dead end. It's probably 7 houses deep, maybe, if that. So wondering if there's any way to put it on the other side of the street or just take them down. We kind of, little community there, we take care of ourselves and each other, so it's kind of threw a wrench in all of us. And it was a few months back. I didn't get the paperwork saying that this was going down, and I heard it from my neighbors just before it happened. I went through my trash, made sure the old lady didn't throw anything away or anything, and
Was this because they posted it for no parking?
Yep, no parking on that.
That doesn't go through any deal. They can just do that. We'll have to ask them why they did that, but.
Well, they said they deemed it the road was too narrow. The plows were complaining, but,
It's on West Horn?
no, the South Collins.
Oh, okay.
But it turns into West Horn, if you can go down West Horn. But, the plows have said it's hard to get up and down, but, it takes them 3-4 days to get up there anyhow, and we have it done before they even get up there anyways. There is, times when we do get a lot of snow, and, it is a bother, but
Is this just because of the snow plows or
that's
because-
what I've been told. I'm not getting any answers from anybody. I've been calling and calling. Nobody's answering. Nobody's replying back. And if I do, they say there's nothing you can do about it. So
Well, you got 2 guys here that can help you out.
I was wondering if we can get a resolution of some sort.
Yeah, there has been 2 streets that we've posted, no parking on one side.
It is only on one side, but I'm the only one that doesn't have a driveway on that side. So it's pushed all that traffic from the hill all the way up in front of my house. And so I can
Whoa.
park in front of a hydrant or 2.5 blocks away. by the time I get home out of work, and everybody's claimed their spots on that side. So
The two streets that we posted since I've been here was not Helen.
no,
Two
it's
other
South,
different.
South Collins.
Oh, South Collins.
South Collins
Oh,
on
I
the
thought
west
you
side.
said Helen.
That's what
No,
I
no,
thought
South
too,
Collins.
yeah.
Not
Excuse me.
developed by Hornet.
Yes, we did at the request, that's one of the ones we did post.
So,
And that was at the request of maintenance. So they could, because of the plowing, and it's only a 24-foot roadway, and technically you shouldn't be parking on either side.
Well, if I measured 2 vehicles on each side, I got almost 16 foot. I don't know how big a plow is, but that's obviously enough to get by. We've been up there this long, and we've all kind of made it work for us. I said I had established a spot. It took me some time to establish a spot in front of my house because my 2 neighbors watch children. You know, they run daycare, so it gets pretty crazy up there, but I'm just want to park in front of my house. That's all I'm asking.
Do you have a driveway at all that you can park in?
No, I'm on street strictly, just, everybody else has driveway, so it doesn't really affect anybody else, but the lady said,
Is there a way where you could have a
no,
driveway or
no, there's absolutely
Those
not.
people
I mean,
could park in their driveway, so you could park on the street.
yeah. Yeah, it's me and my girlfriend, we've been there 10 years, and I'd really hate to park way down the hill. I understand why they did it, because if you go up the hill, it's all rentals on almost both sides. So there's families with quite a bit of people in their houses, you know, so they have, there is a rental house that some college kids were in, and there was like 10 of them in there, so I can understand that. They were parking all crazy. There was, 10 vehicles that shouldn't even been there, but I understand why they did it, but from West Horn up, we kind of just take care of each other. And parking, if we have parking disputes, we dispute it to each other, but, it'll take 2 to 3 days before the plows even get up there. Like I said, by the time that is, I got a buddy with front end loader. He comes up and does it anyways. So I'm just seeing if there's any resolution to this, or
Is there anything you guys can do or help them out?
Can't think much, just like I said, we closed it at the request of maintenance because they were having such a hard time with the plows going through.
I understand it's the hillside.
Well, no, it was both ends, because they told us that end. So, because of that, and it being a 24-foot roadway, that, like I said, per our ordinance, it's not even supposed to have parking on either side.
Seems to me that you don't want it snowing, these people should be parking in their driveways, not on the street.
Yeah, well, the people with the driveways do park in their driveways, but they have children that are starting to drive, and
Well, they need to be told.
Yeah.
Maybe they need to change their.
say nothing was really said. It was just boom.
Right. But starting from, now on, they should be well aware. of
I
it.
never got the.
Can you have Ed meet with him at least and see if there's any kind of resolution we can help him out with?
Sure.
I thought I was probably like grandfathered in because I was the only one with on-street parking, so I never really paid attention to whatever. I could just kept parking there. A couple months went
We'll
by.
have a guy
Pretty
named
good
Ed
for 10
Pitt
years, I'll
get
tell you.
with you.
Yeah,
Hung right in there.
yeah.
We'll have a
It's a
guy
nice
named-
little area up there. I like it.
We'll have a guy named Ed Pitkins get a hold of you
Okay.
and see if we can work something out.
All right. I didn't want to. I think this is kind of minor to bring to you guys, but I was
No,
getting
that's
no
all right.
answers anywhere else.
That's why we're here.
Not a problem.
Exactly, that's where you come here and talk to us.
Right.
All right.
All right, thank you.
I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, we-
Thank you.
Anyone else to be
Yeah,
heard?
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, sir.
Want my concern? Well, today my concern is the mayor has Concordia, and we want Concordia to win. We're gonna yay for the mayor. So
Go
we have to be down.
Northwest.
Now, keep in mind, Alex, that Morningside's out of the tournament, so don't run on here because some of us got to get down
I've
here.
got one
Our
more
team
thing.
is still in
here
Stop
today.
it
I'm
now.
all about the G-Pack.
I'm not done.
Oh.
The game is at 6 o'clock.
6:05.
Concordia's at 6, and the next game is at 8, I believe.
Yeah.
So,
Which you'll never get over because with TV timeouts, but what the heck.
well, at least we'll have a spot.
Yes,
Not your TV timeouts. Thanks.
what do you
Alex.
have?
No, I don't have a lot. I'm really excited about the NAI National Tournament. Again, try to go down and catch the action tonight or the championship tomorrow.
What time is that tonight?
Tonight's Games at 6:05 and 8:05. What time is the game on Tuesday? The championship, is it at 6:05 or do they do 7:05 for the championship?
Normally it's,
7:05.
7:05, thank you. Yep, so 7:05 for that event. The only other thing that I would have, Mayor, is on Wednesday night, we'll be having the Innovation Market, the entrepreneurship festival that was held by Sioux City Growth Organization. The top 5 were selected of those ideas of people wanting to bring these businesses to Sioux City. And so the top 5 will pitch to the Sioux City Growth Organization membership at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, and then the members will be able to vote on their favorite and hopefully get that business a good chunk of change to get their business started. So that'll be taking place Wednesday. If you're not a member of Sioux City Growth Organization, you want to come check it out, a group for young professionals, please come down to Anthem at 5:30 p.m. on Wednesday. That's all I have, Mayor.
I have a question for you, Mayor.
what would that be?
Well, I've had some phone calls on the senior discount for garbage collection. And they said, well, we have more garbage or more recycling in our recycling bin than we do our garbage bins. Does that affect the recycling bin? That doesn't reflect the recycling bin usage, does it?
No, it's free, right?
Are those free?
Yes.
Don't you remember?
They still are?
They still are.
From the very beginning. So you can get a recycling bin for free and you can put a lot of things in the recycling bin.
Mine is full every week.
You can get a magnet that tells you what you can put in there.
So that discussion doesn't take into account, doesn't affect the recycling bins?
No.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to clear that because you and I haven't talked about that for some time.
I'm glad you brought it up.
Yep, that's all I have, Mayor.
With that, I'm going to move we adjourn.
Second.
Moore,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Water,
Aye.